Hello there, ATS EVS 113 students. This is Dr. John Schrage, and I am welcoming you to our fall 2017 semester. I'm recording this today from the shores of beautiful Lake Kentucky in western Kentucky. I'm actually out here for about a week with my family as a little family vacation, and it seemed like a good place to be thinking about classes that are about weather and the environment because, well, frankly, the weather has been an important part of our vacation. It's been hot and it's been rainy and stuff like that. And environment, I mean, we are interested in things like the air quality and the condition of the lake and so on. As many of you know, I'm one of the only professors for Creighton who doesn't actually live in the Omaha area. I actually live in Indiana. I used to actually live in Omaha and work at Creighton University, but a few years ago my job got changed to an online position, which you can live anywhere. And as it happens, my wife, who's a dentist, was able to buy the dental practice in her hometown, so we relocated here. It's been an exciting and interesting challenge. In addition to my wife, I have two little boys. Xavier is 7, and Gabriel is 4. Each semester when I record these videos, I like to take them as an opportunity to tell you about a couple of the most important things that you need to know about the semester and to help you help to answer some of the questions that came up last semester. Probably the most important thing you need to know about this class is that you need to get yourself a copy of the calendar. The calendar is always available to you on Blue Line, and get a copy of it and do whatever works for you to make sure that you follow it. If that means print it out and put it with a magnet on your refrigerator, if that means enter the dates into your Google Calendar, whatever works for you. But make sure that you get a copy of the calendar and you stick with the dates, because in an online class like this, honestly, falling behind is probably the worst thing that you can do. It's very hard to get back up after you have fallen behind. To help you stay on track, I encourage you to send me your cell phone number, and I'll put you on the list of people who receive text messages that are reminders and announcements about the class. All reminders and announcements will also go to your Creighton email account, but I know that nobody really loves Creighton email and nobody really checks it as much as they should. In general, it's best if I have something like a text message that I can send to you. If I have your number, I can just use the system that we have to send you texts instead, and that generally works better. Another important thing to know about this class is how the grading works. In this class, the total class is 1,000 possible points. And every different activity that we do in the class is worth a certain number of points. And then based on the total fraction of the 1,000 points that you get, that's how I determine your grade. So if you only earned 500 of the points, you'd have 500 out of 1,000 or a 50%. But of course, you'll have a higher grade than that. The course is divided up into 8 so-called modules. Modules is sort of a word that comes to us from online education. Instead of that, think of it in terms of units, okay? There's 8 units of material, and each of the 8 units is worth the same number of points, 125 points, or 1/8 of the total class. In each of the modules, the points come from a combination of a quiz, which is generally made up of multiple choice and true-false questions, a homework assignment, and an online discussion. Together, those things make 125 points. Now, I'm going to come back and talk about those online discussions in a little bit because they're always something that people get a little confused about. But before I go any farther, let me tell you, an important thing to understand about the grades is never trust the course grade or whatever they call it that Blue Line gives you. Okay, that's actually true in any of your classes at Creighton. That is what Blue Line comes up with there. When you check your grades on Blue Line, it gives you like a course grade so far or something like that. That is actually just an estimate of where you are. Blue Line is really stupid about understanding how different kinds of assignments have a different amount of weight on the total class grade. It kind of makes an estimate based on how other teachers tend to weight assignments versus quizzes and so on, but it's just an estimate, okay? Blue Line doesn't understand how to do how to come up with your grade so far at all. Unless your course that you're in some other class is like ridiculously simple about its grading method, like for example, there's 2 midterms and a final and each is worth 1/3. That is probably the only situation in which you should trust the Blue Line estimate, okay? I'm gonna warn you about this lots of times over the course of the semester because this is a big problem. Students will say, hey, I thought I had a low A and I ended up with a B+. Well, actually, that's not a terrible estimate that Blue Line came up with, but I realize you're not happy with the letter grade that you got. You can always compute your own grade by just tallying up the total number of points that have been possible so far and the total number of points you have gotten and dividing one by the other. Or you can just ask me for help with that, okay? Because I understand it can be kind of confusing. Other than that, the only thing that tends to cause some confusion for folks is the online discussion. You know, for each of the 8 modules, there's at least one online discussion, and there's 2 steps to completing the online discussion. Whatever the topic is, first you will be given an opportunity to respond, or that's not a good choice of words, to come up with what your contribution to the discussion is. We'll be talking about some particular issue of the atmosphere or the environment or whatever, and you will write your initial contribution. They're typically a couple paragraphs, okay? Then, once everybody has made their initial contribution, a few days later, you have to have responded to 2 students' posts. That doesn't sound all that difficult, but responses have to be meaningful. They can't just be, yes, I agree, or hey, that's great work. You need to, in some way, what the Creighton Center for Online Education, or whatever they call it now, what they say, is you have to have advanced the discussion. You need to do something like provide another example, or provide thought-provoking questions, or something like that. This can't be like a YouTube discussion or something like that. It has to actually be, you know, more like how adults speak to each other, all right? You're gonna find that those are probably the easiest points you get this semester, okay? The homework are not always easy. Most students find the quizzes kind of hard, but as long as you meet the deadlines and so on, the online discussions are probably your easiest source of points. All right, that's about it for today. I just wanted to welcome you and answer a couple of the most important questions about the course. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'm looking forward to having a great semester with you.